So now we are going to make vanilla cupcake. So vanilla cupcake is really very important to do it right, also because it can be used to make a lot of different flavors. That is what we are going to do in this course as well. So even for the caramel cupcake or strawberry cupcake or any flavor for that matter, instead of understanding and learning different cupcakes to flavor them in caramel, to flavor a cupcake in strawberry, for me, the ideal way of doing it is to have a plain, really nicely made vanilla cupcake. And then I'm going to show you what are the different ways in which you can really flavor them. So you can call them with different names and they're actually going to burst out in flavors in whatever name you're going to call and use it, eat it or sell it. But then learning the vanilla cupcake is a key and the basic, and that is what we are going to do today. And this version is with eggs, and the ingredients I have here are the sugar, all-purpose flour, butter, milk, egg, vanilla extract, that's baking powder, and then the salt. Okay, so the process will be to sift the dry ingredients together. So I'm just going to retain the dry ingredients here, and then I have a bowl. So into which I'm going to add the all-purpose flour, then the baking powder, salt, sift and then set it aside, and we'll be using it in the last stage of the flour. And the cupcake tray should be lined with the cupcake liners and then kept ready, and the oven has to be preheated at 180 degrees Celsius. To start with the recipe, we need the stand mixer or a hand beater as well. I'm just going to add the butter, and if you have soft butter, then you could add the sugar along with it. If your butter is not too soft, then beat the butter, make it light, and then add the sugar. I'm just going to add the sugar into it and then beat this on medium-high speed for about 5 minutes until the butter and the sugar becomes creamy, light, pale and fluffy. So here's a stage like after a minute. The butter and sugar are just coming together. You can say it's still not very pale, and then the butter's color is seen quite well. And now this I will continue beating for maybe 4 to 5 more minutes. I'm going to show you in stages how the creaming texture changes. Okay, so this could be after about 3 to 4 minutes. I'm just going to scrape down, also check for the consistency. The color is changing, like you can see, but I like it a little more lighter than this. Okay, so you can see the movement of spatula is not quite easy as yet, which means it is not light yet, but it is turning paler. I'll scrape it down and then continue beating for about 2 more minutes, and then I'll have the right texture. Now it's been beating for about 5 to 6 minutes. Let me check. Now you can see the spatula moving around is just easy, and you can see the creamier, paler and light and fluffy texture of the sugar and the butter. That's how it's going to look like. Now into this I'm going to add the egg. And then beat for about a minute until the egg gets incorporated fully. I'm just going to scrape down. And then beat again for 30 more seconds. Now it looks like this when you have the egg properly incorporated. It's very loose and the eggs nicely incorporated into this. Okay, so now I'm going to add vanilla extract and beat for a few seconds until vanilla gets incorporated fully. So the vanilla is incorporated well. Now at this stage, I'd like to show adding the dry flour, which we have sifted and kept, and the milk. Now we are going to add the flour mixture in 3 parts and milk in 2 parts, and alternating between the flour and the milk and starting and ending with the flour, which means eyeballing the flour into 3 parts, adding 1 part of the flour and then followed by first part of the milk, beat, second part of the flour, beat, second part of the milk, beat, and then the last part of the flour and beat. So you need to beat for just 5 to 10 seconds after the addition of each of them, and that is going to help you not overbeat when you're adding the flour and the milk. And so beating it in slow speed and beating it for a lesser period of time and portioning them in 3 parts and the milk in 2 parts is very important. So let's start doing that. Now we have the butter, sugar, egg mixture. Into this I'm going to add the flour. The first part I'm just eyeballing. And to not allow the dry flour to splatter out, I'm just going to fold this. And once I see it's combined, I'm just going to pop this in the stand mixer and beat for a few seconds until the flour gets incorporated well. So that is the time you should be giving. And now I'm just going to add the milk in 2 parts. So half of the milk goes in. I'm just going to beat on slow speed. would start to look like it is curdled, but it is going to come together. So not to worry at this stage. I'm just going to take it out to show you how it looks like. So don't worry if it is looking curdled, just scrape down completely. And to this I'm going to add the second part of the flour and have the third part stored for the last addition. Okay, so when you see no traces of the dry flour, put it back in the stand mixer and beat this for 5 seconds until incorporated well. So now I'm just going to add the last part of the milk. Now beat until the milk gets incorporated well. Now that's how it is going to look after the milk addition and the second portion of the flour. Now scraping down to the bottom and then adding the last portion of the flour. And folding it roughly, because anyway we are going to run the beater once, right? So just when you see no traces of the dry flour that was added, put it back in the stand beater and beat it for a few seconds until you have a smooth batter. So the batter is ready, clean and smooth. We're done with making the batter. It looks so beautiful and we are now ready to fill our cupcake molds. Scraping and cleaning off the beater blade. I'm just going to scrape it once and check the texture. So that's how it's going to look like. Really very silky and with a beautiful color of the vanilla extract. And it also smells really lovely because of the pure vanilla extract that I have used. I'm just going to get the pan prepared. It's ready here. I'm just going to start using the scoop. So depending on the size of the liner, you would make a 9 like how I have here, or smaller liners would get you 12 cupcakes. Okay, so now we just tap to release any bigger air bubbles in the middle, and now this should go into the oven to get baked at 180 degrees Celsius on a preheated oven, which means preheating of the oven should be happening, like run the empty oven at 180 degrees Celsius, and it has to keep running until you are ready to put this into the oven. Now this will go into the oven to get baked at like 180 degrees for about 18 to 22 minutes, but keep checking after 15 minutes and insert a toothpick into the center of one of the cupcake. It has to come out clean, but the moment you know that the toothpick has come out clean, then your cupcakes are ready and you should just take it out of the oven immediately. You should not wait looking for brown color on the top, or looking at any other end scenarios. The scenario is the toothpick coming out clean is what you need to look at. Don't worry about the browning part, because once the toothpick is clean and it has come out, if you're going to keep it in the oven any longer, even a minute more is going to allow the moisture from the cupcake evaporate, and that is going to make your cupcakes dry. So let me put this into the oven, and once I have it ready, I'll get back and show you how these have baked. So the vanilla cupcakes have baked so beautifully. You can see it just looks really very soft on the outside, and the inside is going to be even more spongier, which I'm going to show after it's been frosted. And a toothpick inserted into the center of one cupcake comes out clean, and then the cupcakes are done. And when it comes out of the oven and you're able to handle the heat of the pan, the cupcake pan, you need to take them out of the cupcake pan and leave them out, because leaving them in the cupcake pan for a longer period of time is going to get the bottom of the cupcake liner oily and sticky. To avoid that, we need to take it out, and these are ready to go to get frosted if you're going to send it out the same day, or if you're going to make them ahead of time and then store them for a later period because you have a lot of cupcakes to bake. Then these have to be stored in Ziplocks and kept inside the freezer without any air that is locked inside the Ziploc. Then when you have to use it, you need to thaw it back in the refrigerator overnight and then get it into the room temperature for about 2 hours and allow the condensation to happen on the outside of the Ziploc. And then you take them out of the Ziplocks and then they are ready to frost. So let's see how we are going to use these vanilla cupcakes to flavor with a lot of other components that we have made.